Thank you, Professor LaPiana. All right, our final speaker of the day is our own EPJ member. She is a 2L, Kirby Crow. Kirby is from Lampasas, Texas, and is a graduate of Tarleton State University, where she played softball and studied history and political science. Kirby is a second-year student here at Texas Tech, is a staff editor on our journal. She is also a member of the Organization of Women Law Students, a member of the Tech Law Hunting and Fishing Society, and a member of the Phi Delta Phi Honor Society. Kirby will be presenting about her article that will be published in Volume 6, Book 2, titled, "Oh Dear, the Public Trust Doctrine and Issues Regarding Estate Planning for the Cervid Breeding Industry." Please join me in welcoming Kirby Crow.
I get to talk to you about deer. But more specifically, I get to talk to you about the cervid deer breeding industry and some of the challenges that professionals face when estate planning for owner-operators in this industry. But first, I think I need to begin by telling you what this business actually is. And then I'll go into more of the specific challenges that some professionals face. For example, valuing the estate, administrative regulations, and the public trust doctrine. And then I want to demonstrate why a revocable living trust would be a great tool to utilize. So, this presentation is really in honor of those who are dedicated to maintaining the integrity of the industry. It's also dedicated to hunting conservationists. So I think to begin, I need to define what a cervid is. Cervid is really just a broad term for a deer. In this industry, a cervid may include an axis deer, a fallow deer, red stag, sika, blackbuck, elk, mule deer, and whitetail. And as you can imagine, whitetail are the most prevalent in this industry. I think that a lot of people underestimate the economic impact that this industry has. I think that for 3 reasons. 1, because it is so rural in nature. 2, because a lot of people just don't know that this industry even exists. And 3, because there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work. But to give you an example of the economic impact that this industry does have, in 2008, it had a $3 billion overall economic impact. In Texas, it had a $652 million economic impact, and it supports over 7,000 jobs in Texas, and it's growing. This isn't surprising when you consider that a trophy buck can generate up to and over $100,000. A trophy buck can generate this through artificial insemination, bred does, or fawns. A doe with an impressive genetic disposition can bring over $3,500. So, to demonstrate the breeding facility itself and some challenges that are inherent in the industry, a typical buck operation may have approximately 5 to 15 pens, each pen being about 1 to 5 acres. So geographically, it's pretty expansive. These breeding facilities can be anywhere between 10 and 15 acres for a medium-sized farm. So, usually these breeding facilities will also accompany a hunting operation on a larger high-fence game ranch. When this is the case, the owner-operator will have 2 goals. The first, to enhance the genetic disposition of deer inside the pen, and the second, to enhance the genetic disposition of deer outside the pen. There's 2 common misconceptions about this industry. One is that a hunter can walk straight up to a pen and shoot a deer. That's not the case and very illegal. And the second is that an owner-operator will sell a specific deer, release that deer, and then a hunter will immediately harvest it. This is really against the goals of the owner-operator and financially impractical because the entire point of releasing one of these deer is so that it has an opportunity to breed. So to give you an idea of a larger operation, this is an aerial view. It's probably a larger operation. As you can see here, there's probably an artificial insemination barn, a nursery, large storage areas, and a grain silo. Some owner-operators may also choose to run a nursery. They do this because it may make the herd more manageable or may make the fawns more tame. But other owner-operators may choose to just care for fawns when a doe won't or can't. A medium operation can have anywhere between 75 to 150 fawns with as few as 1 to 4 people working them, which is pretty substantial when you consider that these fawns can nurse from 3 to 6 times a day and up to 5 months. This is not a conventional nursery. Most of the time you don't teach the deer to read. But this is just kind of to demonstrate some of the challenges in the industry itself. So whether a farmer plans for the business to continue operation after death as in a trust, or for a total disposition of the farm, some of these day-to-day activities will have to be managed and continue to be managed for at least a period of time in order for the operation to realize the value of the deer or to arrange a transfer of the deer. Besides these day-to-day challenges, there are also challenges in valuing the deer. Whether or not it's a personal representative's duty to file an inventory appraisement and list of claims, or an affidavit in lieu thereof, or a trustee who's just managing the finances, the deer will have to be valued. In Texas, the deer can be collectively appraised. However, if there are any outliers, a particularly valuable deer, they may need to be separately appraised. It can be very difficult to recognize an outlier. You wouldn't know that this would turn into this. However, a personal representative may not be acting as a reasonable person, and a trustee will certainly not be acting their fiduciary duty if they sell a fawn for $500 that has a $2 million sire. Another challenge that estate planners face in this industry is with administrative regulations. A lot of owner-operators find these administrative regulations to be very difficult to comply with, and there can be severe penalties for minor infractions. For example, innocent mistakes can lead to a revocation of the license entirely. These administrative regulations are particularly challenging for estate planners because it may not be possible to just release the herd onto a high-fenced game ranch, and it really may be impossible to release the herd on a low-fenced game ranch. Cervid breeding is regulated by Texas Parks and Wildlife, which provides unique challenges because most agricultural industries are regulated by other agencies that estate planners may be more familiar with. For example, the cattle industry is regulated by the Texas Animal Health Commission. And finally, another challenge in estate planning for this industry is the public trust doctrine. The general rule of fere naturae, wildlife, is that wildlife is held in trust by the state for the people. There's also a general exception to this rule, that wildlife can be reduced to private ownership through dominion and control. However, this has really never been the case with white-tailed deer in Texas. This exception to the general rule was further established in State v. Bartee in 1995, where a Texas court held that although these deer were reduced to dominion and control, they were not privately owned. So, owner-operators are concerned about what this may mean for their beneficiaries. This may also help explain why changes in the industry regulations can be so unpredictable. Furthermore, this also illustrates another reason why estate planning for cervid farms is different from estate planning for other agricultural industries, such as cattle ranches, for the simple fact that cattle can be privately owned, but deer in these facilities are not. So, for these reasons and for these challenges, a revocable living trust really may be a great tool. It could help ensure that agency regulations are met. Estate planning professionals could draft around past compliance issues by sitting down with an owner-operator of these farms and predicting future compliance issues. It could also lend the kind of flexibility that this industry needs. For example, as regulations change and as the financial situation of the business or the industry as a whole changes, the trustee could be given more or less discretion. So in conclusion, I really think it's important to know and understand some of these unique challenges, whether the owner-operator's goals for continued management after death, like in the case of an owner-operator who wants beneficiaries to realize the value of a deer that has hit the genetic jackpot, like in the instance of the $100,000 deer, or the owner-operator just wants to develop an exit strategy. A revocable living trust can really help plan for the unpredictable aspects of the deer breeding industry. So I really want to thank Professor Beyer and the Estate Planning Journal for letting me talk on this very specific subject that I'm pretty passionate about. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day.
All right. You want to go back to the beginning?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
I didn't think about that. Just hit. Right there.
All right, thank you, Kirby. That concludes our presentations for the day. Before we move on to the next little thing, which everyone is invited to, I will tell you about it in a minute. We are going to announce the winner of the Centennial Gift Basket. Would Miss Kayla Wimberly please come to the front? Okay, I'll give her a round of applause. All right, everyone that's still here, when we leave this room, there is going to be a wine and cheese reception over in the forum. We would love for everyone to join us. Like I said, wine and cheese, refreshments, and snacks will be over there, so feel free to help yourselves.
One final quick thank you to all of our speakers. Everyone did a wonderful job today. Great information for all of our participants. Another huge thank you to our sponsors. This would not be possible without you. Huge thank you to Professor Beyer, and as well as the members of the Journal for all of your hard work as we put all this together.
I'm going to say thank you on behalf of the Journal as well. That being said, we obviously know the West Texas legal community is a tight-knit group, and our Journal is proud to work with this community to provide top-notch presentation to all of you. So we appreciate all of you being here and all of your support. We hope you enjoyed today's program, and we look forward to seeing you all next year. All right, that is it.